Hi everyone, welcome back. Nicole here with Edge of Wild, and today I am starting my dahlias. So, I had 6 dahlia plants, 7, maybe 7. Last summer that I put in the ground. I pulled them out this fall. I divided them this fall and then I wrapped them in saran wrap. Let me put in a little clip of what they looked like last night when I pulled them out. So last night I pulled them out, actually yesterday afternoon. I pulled them out of the refrigerator that I kept them in all winter. They stayed in there with my Glad bulbs. They were wrapped in saran wrap to help hold moisture to them. And they look pretty good. I have a couple, I didn't bring down any, I threw out the ones that were withered. There was like 3 of them that had, pretty much they ran out of moisture. Otherwise they look pretty good. I don't think they look like they have any issues. But, falling. Careful. These ones all look good. Their eyes have all started to swell, so that's what those little bulbs are there. And that's where the plant's going to grow. So you have to be careful not to damage those. This one looks pretty good too. Let's see if I put my hand up there, real focus on it. Yeah. That looks good. It's got roots slightly started. I think there's 24 is what I counted. I did not label them, so I do not know what variety. I want to say they were like, it's probably the Cornell Browns, because I've heard those ones are really prolific. I think there was like 4 plants out of the 6 that I got a lot off of. So watch them all be the same color, but regardless, whatever the correct word is, I am going to pot them up, get them started, and have more dahlia plants this year. I will see what the varieties are. If they do well, I may try to winter over more next year. I may consider ordering a couple different varieties next year if I have a way to actually store them over. I haven't wanted to spend the money on dahlia tubers to not have them perform and then not be able to divide them, because I just don't want to spend the money on them year after year. I'm fine spending money to get started if I have a way to divide them and then keep them for next year. So I went and got a bunch of my pots. These are all pots I have from either buying started plants. I feel like a good chunk of these came from, we do a plant swap up here. I say we, some of the people in the area do a plant swap. I have gone to them quite a bit. I usually end up with quite a few pots. So people just label them, and then when I bring the plants home, I save the pots. Because what gardener doesn't save the little pot that everything came out of and be like, you have potential. You really do. So, those are all saved up. I'm going to have the girls help me put dirt in them and get planted, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do without their help so that I can take a little bit more time explaining. And I'm going to start with one of these slightly smaller pots. So step 1 is figure out if I want to remove the tag. Now we're not going to worry about it. So it has drain holes. You would think this would come out way easier. Got it. Okay. Container has drain holes. What I'm going to do, I'm going to scoop up some of the dirt I have in here, pack it down in really good. And I'm going to fill the container like probably 3/4 of the way full. Make sure I fill up the sides. Okay, so I have more or less like a hole down in there. Then I'm going to take one of my tubers. I'm going to find one that's going to fit decently in here. Here's the tuber. There are the little eyes. I'm going to sit it down in. So you can just lay it on its side. That's really all you have to do. And as long as they fit on their side, that's what I'm going to do. If it gets to a point where it's taking up a little too much space, I might sit it more downward. But on their side is usually a really good spot to put dahlia tubers. And then I'm just going to cover it with dirt. Kind of pack that in. And that's got 2 to 3 inches of dirt over top of it maybe. And then bam, pot it up just like that. Dirt all the way to the bottom so it can soak up moisture. These will probably get watered from overhead. I did bring down some plastic containers because these all have holes in them. I don't want them sitting on my floor. I can sit them in the container. I don't have to worry about having these under light until like growth gets above the soil surface. I just have to make sure to keep an eye on the moisture. So then we just see if they sprout. That's fingers crossed, hope that they do that. This should give them a chance to get ahead of anything outside. Because outside, it's a little too, I think the soil's a little too chilly. Like they just wouldn't take off. They would sit there and sit there and sit there. And then if we get a bunch of rain like they are calling for, you run the risk of them rotting out. So I'm just going to do it this way. Here's another one. So this one actually has 2 tubers, and like the tuber part, the body, that is not what decides the plant. You have the tuber, you have your neck, and then you have your eyes. And the eyes are what's important. So actually, you don't have all 3 of these things. You can't have just eyes, can't have a broken neck, you can't have any kind of damage like that. You have to have a body, a tuber, the neck, and the eye in order for it to be successful. If you break the eye off, at this point, there's probably a good chance you can still put it in the ground. There might be another eye that'll swell up. But, let's say you break the neck on it, you're done for. So you do have to be kind of careful handling the actual tubers. That's why the girls are going to help me fill up the pots. They're not going to help me with planting. I'm going to save that part for a me project. But they can put dirt in pots. Let me tell you, putting dirt places, filling a pot, filling anything with something is one of their favorite pastimes. So that is a favorite pastime of a toddler. So that is something that I use to my advantage. Now, are these pots like way deeper than they need to be? Yes, they are. But I don't know that I have, I have like a smaller one like this. Like this would be fine. I don't know that I have a ton of this size though. But I might go look and see because I don't know if I want to use my like gallon size pots because that's a lot of soil. But it's a good way for them to get their roots established. They have lots of soil to use. They will probably be in these for about a month because it's May 5th now. And it'll probably be the 1st of June before they go out. So before we're guaranteed to be warm enough not to have cold temperatures to affect them. I also don't want to use up all of my, I guess I have a bunch of square ones up there. So say I don't want to use up everything of my somewhat smaller pots because I do need to start my melons and I'll start my pumpkins and all that stuff yet. So I want to make sure I have enough for that. Okay, I'm going to keep adding some soil here. This one's got 2 nice eyes, maybe even a 3rd one. I think it's just the 2, but looks good. Cheese. Cheese. Good job. We filling pots? What one are you gonna fill now there, Emmy? That one? Okay, fill her up. Mom. I don't know if that one has any drain holes. It's cracked on the bottom. We'll make it work. Wow. Hey. How about you take a handful? Okay, you do you. Thank you for filling that up, Ray. You did very good. Cheese. Very good, Ray. Yes, Chase. You're doing good too.
My turn. Cheese. Cheese. Right. Look, give me. Cheese. Cheese. Right. Cheese. Mom.
Thank you. Yes, Chase. Yes, Chase. You find it doggy, Chase?
Mom, jump.
So we were able to get everything planted last night. The girls helped me fill pots until they were bored. As they filled, I was kind of moving them to the side and planting the dahlia tubers. They look like nothing, but I'll show them to you. I have them in containers that have a solid bottom, at least for like a ½ inch or so that I can water them. I plan to overhead water them. I think that'll be totally fine because that's what they would get outside. And I'm not worried about the growth. I don't have to water them often, just need to keep an eye on the soil moisture. That's a little bit of a learning curve, guessing game, however you want to look at that. Okay, so here they are. I just kind of have them lined up. They don't need to be under lights until growth starts. And I'm guessing growth isn't going to start until it's going to be later in the month. So we probably can move them outside at that point. And then I can move them in if it's going to be really cold. This one's very packed out, but there they are. And then there's one over on the shelves just because I wanted to put it up because I did that one prior to the girls helping me out. And then there's this one. This one, if that soil looks a little dry there, I could probably add water. I'll probably take this one off the shelf so it's easier to like water and work with and everything. I just didn't want to deal with. I didn't want the girls to get into it while I wasn't down here. Now they should know, like, hey, yep, we helped, but we're not going to touch. While we're here, quick update on the seedlings. So what is left in here? I have, if you can see, I have some asters. That is my annual phlox. That looks so. The algae in here is insane. Those are the sundrops. That's a tray of feverfew. I really need to decide if I'm just going to take that outside and transplant it, just pull it out of there, or if I'm going to put it in a tray. This is the celosia. Not great germination, but what I have looks really good. I have some blue pleurum, which I think I'm going to do the same thing. Just take the tray outside and plant them. I have little baby tomato starts. That's the mahogany splendor hibiscus. This is the Persian cress. I think I'm just going to take that outside too. I think it's good to go. It's kind of got wimpy stems, but I think if I take it outside and just stick it in the ground, it doesn't like its roots messed with. So it says it doesn't transplant well. So we're going to see how that goes. Then I have status, which that is definitely ready to go out. A little bit of blue pleurum in the back. Those are straw flowers, which I feel like I should start later next year because, I don't know, we'll see. I'll see how long it takes them to bloom. But at this point I feel like they could go outside, but the temperature disagrees. Then I have Rudbeckia. Both of those pretty well look ready to go outside too. I'm borderline. I kind of want to wait 2 weeks so that we're outside of the major risk of frost. There's another tray of annual phlox, and then these are some snapdragons that are just coming up because I was so disappointed in so many of my other ones. have some more straw flower, and then some more status, and then I have some beastly looking tomatoes. I'm really happy with how they look. I'm terrified because they need to be in here for like another month. I mean 2 weeks and they could probably go move inside outside, but they're not going in the ground for another month, and they literally shot up like overnight. So 2 containers of those. Excited to see how they do this year. The other ones that I started up here were there's indigo cherry. They're like a dark cherry tomato. There's something that my friend likes, so I was starting some for her. So that's a look at how the seedlings are doing. That's kind of a wrap up on how I'm starting my dahlias this year. I'm excited to see how they turned out. Fingers crossed they grow really well. This gives them a head start, and maybe I get some blooms a little earlier. We'll see. Seedlings look good, at least what's in here, minus the algae. I turned the heater not off, but way down, and I think that's gonna help. I think that's the secret. I don't really know, but I think that is. So when I start my snapdragon, or not my snapdragon, my zinnias and my sunflowers, I'm gonna start some of the sunflowers in here and most all of my zinnias. They don't love to be transplanted, but if you just get them germinated then transplant them, I find they do a lot better than dealing with, I don't know if it's the potato bugs, the pill bugs, I don't know, but whatever tries to eat them as seedlings. And yeah, so I'm excited to go through all that. Thanks for coming along on this adventure, and I will see you in the next one.